What is up, my beautiful people? You are very welcome along to Monday night's late night news roundup. I'm going to take you through the developing story that could see Liverpool soon make a bid for Giovani Leoni of Parma. We're going to take you through the likelihood of it, who's saying what, give you our opinion on it, and of course ask you for yours. We're also going to discuss the situation with Alexander Isak, as it's been spoken about that they called us and asked us to have a conversation around Isak. So we'll take you through again what's been said and maybe how this one plays out. Over to you guys, once you've watched the video, to let me know your thoughts. Do drop a like if you enjoy it, and of course we'd love you to hit that subscribe button. One last thing, don't forget to check out the Anfield Agenda Clips channel as well. Just search Anfield Agenda Clips and you will find it there on YouTube. Right, let's get going. So Fabrizio Romano has said, my prediction that Liverpool will sign Giovani Leoni from Parma. Liverpool are really considering him internally. And then Florian Plettenberg put googly eyes emoji underneath with a tick. Now, for me, he must be ready to go then, because that's what we need, in my opinion, is somebody who can come in and compete and fill in if Virgil or Ibu is injured. In an ideal world, and me being greedy me, I'd love to see us sign him and Mark Gay, even if the thought process then was to loan Leoni back over to Italy for a season, maybe with a clause in there that if Liverpool have an injury, we can bring him back. That would be ideal for me, especially seeing as we still don't know what is happening with Ibrahim Kanadi and his future. So if we were to bring in Mark Gay, I think that would give Liverpool a bit more leverage in the conversations as well with Ibu, and we'll cover our backsides in case, well, anything happens. So mixed reporting. Some people think Liverpool are about to move for Mark Gay, but Romano there saying that he has a sneaking suspicion Liverpool could be about to make that move for Giovani Leoni. Let me know in the comments which one you think would be the more sensible signing. Now, let's talk about Paris Saint-Germain and Bradley Barcola. So we know that his name is being thrown around quite a bit as somebody who Liverpool are looking at should the worst come to the worst and they can't sign Isak. But are we banging our heads against a brick wall here? Because, once again, Romano has said, Paris Saint-Germain are expecting Bradley Barcola to sign a huge new contract after the transfer window closes. Everybody at the club wants him to stay and insists he's not for sale despite Liverpool's interest. So I guess my question would be, why would we be sniffing around a player who they have no intention of selling or who doesn't want to sell? Like, at least with Newcastle, we know Isak wants to come and is trying to make the move happen. But if after a protracted saga we don't get him, surely we can't then start going knocking on the door of another club who might not be willing sellers, especially late in the window. I'm a little bit conflustered with that one, so do let me know what your thoughts are on it. Moving on to this one, Liverpool have told Federico Chiesa that they are not planning to sell him at the moment, especially after the number of sales that we've had up front. The situation could potentially change if Isak is brought to the club, but at the moment, he is non-transferable. And this, they said, was after meetings with Chiesa and his agent. Now, again, this isn't very helpful to us because he hasn't had a pre-season, once again, didn't go on the pre-season tour over to Hong Kong and Japan, didn't take any part really in the game yesterday, although he was on the bench against Crystal Palace. And why keep a player that Arna clearly doesn't want, that he clearly didn't use last year, clearly didn't have the plan to play this year, and most importantly, isn't ready, isn't match fit, isn't a viable option from the bench? We spent the whole year last year hearing that he wasn't sharp, he wasn't ready, playing catch up. Well, what's different now? Keeping bodies around just to have bodies that the manager won't use was part of the problem last season. So this one is, well, it's irked me a little bit, to be honest. So Romano has said Manchester City now have serious interest in Rodrigo from Real Madrid. With Savinho going to Spurs and Grealish likely going on loan to Everton, there's room for a new arrival. So this could be another option or another avenue if Isak doesn't work out for Liverpool off the table. Are we playing a risky game here waiting for Isak, or are we confident that this one gets done? So here's a bit of information from Ben Jacobs that really has me confused, and I alluded to this at the start of the video. So regarding Liverpool's first bid for Isak, Newcastle called Liverpool and said we should have a conversation because they realised that Isak was trying to force his way out, and that's why Liverpool were surprised when the bid was rejected so emphatically. It is a bit weird, right? Newcastle reached out to us to ask us to have a conversation with them, knowing that we're interested in Isak. So then we have the conversation. Liverpool put in £110 million offer, which, you know, might be below Newcastle's valuation, but is still a good jumping off point. But to so emphatically refuse that, it is mixed messaging. And be honest with you, if I was in Liverpool's position, I'd be confused by it as well. He goes on to say that Isak will not engage with Newcastle over a new contract until Liverpool tell him directly that a deal isn't going to happen. So again, your guess is as good as mine why a club would reach out to have a conversation, you to say, yep, we're willing buyers, them to realise the player wants out, and then rebuff the offer so emphatically and so callously. It's weird, right? So Alex Crook has said that his sources are telling him that the initial bid of £110 million that Liverpool sent for Alexander Isak wasn't too far away from what the number that we believe that Newcastle will accept when eventually a sale does come. I've always thought £150 million was a non-starter, and I've said it time and time again, and it's been reiterated by journalists all over the world as well. The £150 million number was never a realistic number for Liverpool. It might be a number that Newcastle had as their, this is the offer that will turn our heads, but it was never one that was going to happen from Liverpool. So it was always going to have to take a willing seller, Newcastle to find a replacement, and then Liverpool to reach a deal. For what it's worth, I think 120 to 130 gets this deal done. And people keep saying to me, how confident are you that it happens? Or you said it's 99.9. I've always said, yeah, really confident it happens, but the one thing that's out of my control, Liverpool's control, your control, is the situation with Newcastle finding a replacement. If they can't attract in a viable replacement, well, they're not going to sell themselves short, even if it might take them a month or two to turn Isak's head back around, and even if they lose him down the line, they still have a Champions League campaign, a league season, and they need the bodies in. So until they can find an adequate replacement, they were never going to sell Isak. That's why I was always confused about people saying, well, let's put in an offer now. Well, no, because we knew that until they get a replacement, this wasn't going to happen. So I'm imagining Liverpool thought, well, let's have a conversation when Newcastle reached out. Let's see what the parameters are, and then maybe we know when they get X and Y sorted out, we can move at this number. Peace of mind for everybody. But right now, we don't know where they're at. We don't know what's happening, and we don't know where Newcastle heads are at with it. For what it's worth, I do think he becomes a Liverpool player. I do think Newcastle will find the bodies that they need. But for me, we need to get a centre-back sorted ASAP. If that's Giovani Leoni and that's who the club want, happy days. Do let me know your thoughts on it. Tomorrow, as well as having, of course, the 4:30 video, the late night agenda, and the late night news roundup, we'll also be recording the next episode of the Anfield Agenda podcast. That is going to be out for members first, and then it'll be out for everybody on Wednesday morning. That is it for me tonight, folks. Appreciate your support as always. Looking forward to reading your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.